Please share with the audience what it is that you do for a living.
I am a bookkeeper. I do financial reporting and accounting for small businesses, entrepreneurs, nonprofits. That's my jam.
When's the first time you got drawn to numbers?
Oh, young. At my mother's side, actually, they had their own business, and she would do, since it was the 70s and 80s, and she would have her little green bar and would need to balance the bank account. And she would be pulling her hair out because she couldn't find those 3 pennies. And so I would go and double check with her. And I got used to that whole, checking things off. It's like, I like doing that. Putting things in order, making sure everything's where it's supposed to be. Okay, I can do that.
It's a beautiful inspiration that you shared. I mean, to me, like, to be honest, like the last thing I want to do is be a bookkeeper. No offense.
No, none taken.
But it's beautiful that you have this correlation. So the question for me is, do you see a bird as an individual or as a flock?
Individual. Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends on the bird that I'm looking for or looking at. Pelicans I see as a flock because you see them flying in a V all the time, right? But most of the times when I'm looking for a single one. And it's often a single one in the same thing in the way of what I do. It's usually a single thing that just didn't quite get done right or just could be tweaked a little bit better. It's not a big thing, it's small.
And when's the first time that you felt this soaring sensation?
Well, in reality, I mean, besides my imagination, the back of a cruise ship. We used to go as a family on cruises, and I just remember one time, I was an only child, so I was off on, exploring the ship, and I ended up on the very back. And if you stood there, you could just see this amazing horizon behind you, and then the water was churning, and it was such a soothing, amazing sound, and the colors were so vibrant, and I just remember standing there going, this is as free as I could ever possibly feel. And it felt to me like what it felt like in my imagination to be soaring with the kestrel.
I think you shared with me a story earlier on about your son on the bike.
Well, that was then as an adult, yes. As an adult, oh, yeah. Yeah. So my older son, when he was learning how to ride his bike, and you have the training wheels on and they're wobbling, and you have I think we had like a broomstick or something in the back, and we're running behind him. And then at one point I was like, okay, we're gonna take this broomstick off. You're just gonna go. And when he finally did, when he got that balance and he just took off, I was like, oh my gosh. And I felt like I was just like right there, like over him as he was pedaling and he was going off free. And I'm like, yes, that's the best feeling. For me, that was when I realized other people soaring could bring that same sensation to me.
So you currently have a staff working for you. So how does this, we all are driven, it's easy to drive ourselves, right? As entrepreneurs, we know our why, we know our path, and we know what motivates us. What have been some of the challenges and inspirations that you've used to inspire your staff?
Well, it kind of goes back to just looking oftentimes at what our role is, which is to kind of be a detective. We're a record keeper, but we're also there to problem solve. I mean, it can seem like it's just, boring and routine, I know, to everybody else, but it's crucial, And I teach the people who work for me to also not have that mentality. You're not a bean counter. You're not just here looking for debits and credits. You are here to support people in a process so that they can do what they do best. And you're taking care of their money for them. And that's huge. It's their livelihood. So, take that seriously and also look for ways that we can make little changes that'll help them make it better. You know, there might be a new way to do something. They might be missing this little tweak over here that we can make. And yeah, just remember that we are as much of the process as, you know, as anyone. We are as critical.
So what would be the big differentiator for you when you're comparing yourself to maybe your competition or somebody else that does what you do?
I get personal. I usually get to know all of my clients as well as I possibly can, to kind of know what drives them. I want to know, what is this business that you're willing to trust to me? What does it mean to you? What is that for you? And I want to understand that just as deeply, so that I know when I'm, you know, opening that account to do it, what am I supporting? Who am I supporting? What is this purpose? And then, because I have like a personal, I now feel like you're family to me. All right, what do you need? How can I support you? You know, what kind of reports is it? How do you want me to record this data for you? We'll make sure everything's good for your taxes. That's one thing over here. That's really basic. But what do you need every single day, every single month, that'll give you what you know, to see where, all right, we grow if we go down this path. So it's a personal relationship.
So similar question to earlier, the Groundhog Day question.
Oh, yeah.
On a Saturday morning, like if you could do anything you wanted to, what would it be?
Yeah, and I think I answered this. It's like, I would be doing exactly what I do right now, which is opening up QuickBooks and going down the line. I just love it. And I think about, and because I open it, and I'll open it, whoever the client is, and I have a couple in the room, and I will think of them before I start anything. And because I'm thinking of them, it brings a smile to my face, and I'm like, all right, now let's do our best for them, and let's just move it on. Now, I will take breaks. You know, I'll go on walks. I do tend to do a lot of walking. I might see a bird or three. I also have cats, and so, you know, they kind of keep me going too. So a day where I can have time with doing my client work, but also then, you know, time at the end to spend with my family, it would be the best.
What's your greatest sense of satisfaction you've had this year?
Ooh. Oh. Wow. There have been a lot, actually. Darn it. Well, number one was seeing my younger son. I'm rocking, I can't. Seeing my younger son graduate through a leadership program that he just completed, which was a long process for him. And now seeing him coach it is just like, whew, it's amazing. Seeing, I have a client who has nearly tripled their business this year, and celebrating that with them when they hit that mark was like, are you kidding me? Do you just see what you did? This is amazing. Oh my God. And honestly, getting through this.
So, last question.
Yeah.
3 words to describe your meaning of life.
Imagine the possibilities. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, actually, Andrew and I were talking about that on our walk this morning. I spent a lot of my life putting a lot of limitations on myself. Lots of them. And after going through a program this past year, I ended up on a phone call with someone at a moment where I realized I did not know how to daydream anymore. Like she would, you know, I couldn't even dream about, like, what's the most money you could earn? What's the most, you know, where do you want to be in 10 years? You know, where do you see yourself? And I'm like, I just couldn't do it. And then I just went through this exercise with her, and that opened me back up. And every day since then, I've just been like, oh my goodness, look at all the different things I can do. Like, I really can expand my plate and do this and train for a Grand Canyon trek and take care of clients and, it's an and. The ands are there. You have to ask for support sometimes, or almost all the time, but everything is possible.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.